Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm your host, Pete Mezzetti. My guest this evening is fitness expert Mark Fullerton. See, I gave you a title, pal.
Fitness expert, yeah.
There you go, fitness.
That's very nice of you.
I could be a nice guy. How are you, bud?
Awesome.
Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a few hours.
I was going to say about 12?
12 hours.
Yeah, exactly. So what's new?
What's new? I just got back from a little vacation with my wife Wendy, and we went out hiking out in South Dakota and Wyoming.
Oh, how was that?
First time there for me, so not for her, but amazing. Everybody should go there at least once. Yellowstone and Jackson Hole, and so much to do out there. Biking and hiking, and a lot of fun.
Jackson Hole, good skiing.
Very good skiing, yeah, but I've never skied there, no.
No, me either.
But a lot of good cowboy stuff going on out there. A lot of good cowboy bars, cowboy towns, just cowboy everything, you know. It's cool.
Absolutely. You know, I actually, when growing up, we actually rented a house in Ludlow, Vermont. Mm-hmm. Basically, all we had to do when we rented the house is get dressed at Okemo, up in Ludlow, get dressed, put the skis on, put the boots on, ski down the driveway. The lift was right there.
Right to the lift.
Yep. Done.
Yeah. You could do that a lot in Jackson Hole, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
No, absolutely. And so if you want to do a couple of runs in the morning before it got 3 below zero, and then after lunch, call it a day.
Yeah. At 3 below zero, after lunch is the day, right?
Oh, at 3 below zero, 1 or 2 runs, then you're done.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's 2.
For sure.
It's 2.
I agree. I used to ski a lot. And,
oh, did you?
Yeah, it was my passion in my 20s. But after I had children, it just became unaffordable. So it was it was like what used to cost us X now costs 10X.
Yeah, right.
Because to ski with children, you have to actually feed them. So
sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They need some nourishment here and there. So too expensive on a ski mountain.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, so from what I understand, you also teach spin.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, spinning. And invented in probably less than 30 years ago, invented for me. The guy that invented it was Johnny G.
Okay.
And he invented it for me because he realized that I don't like to bike in the cold.
Okay.
So so when I found out that they had indoor cycling, and we were going to do indoor cycling classes, and one of my best friends had a gym, and he was going to get this thing, and he asked me to be an instructor because we used to bike outside together. I was like, oh my God, this is so my passion here. So I put together the music. I put together the 45-minute or 1-hour class with the music, and then we do different things in the class where it's sort of a HIIT training. It's interval training. So you kind of operate where you're at a base level of aerobic working out, and then between 15 and 25 times during the class, you take that to anaerobic, which is something you can't do for more than 30, 40 seconds. And then you back down and you chill out for a second for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway, that burns so many calories. It's so much fun. It goes by like this. It's like being in a nightclub working out.
Okay.
So yeah, that was for me. And so I've taught maybe 5,000 classes in my life.
Really?
Yeah. There was a time when I taught more than 7 per week. And yeah, but I've been doing it for 26 years, so that's what I love to do.
Obviously,
and I still love
you like
to do
it.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah. Now, is it hard?
In the beginning, it is, yeah. And if you're not a cyclist, it is. It's like true cyclists probably don't love it that much because it's too dancey for them. Okay. But like normal people just kind of love it because you can get an hour's worth of training in, and it seems like it goes by relatively quickly because there's so much energy in the room and you feed off of each other, and and there's music and that's great. So yeah, I think it's a really cool way to work out. There's nothing that hurts your joints or your back, or it's not like running where it's pounding on your vertebrae or anything like that. And you're inside, you're in a dark room, nobody's looking at you. You work out as hard as you want to, and in a traditional spinning environment, there's no numbers or anything that tells you how fast you're going, how hard you're working out. So like people can do whatever they want to do. So the beauty of spinning is that you could have a 70-year-old person taking the class with a 22-year-old biking racer.
Right.
And they could both do the class, they could both get their own workout in, and they could both work out to their peak capacity of what they want to do in the class that day. And you can't tell, like there's no obvious thing that this guy's working out really, really much harder than this 70-year-old person over here. So
people like Vinny could do a spin class.
Vinny actually has done many, many spin classes. Yeah.
Really?
He hasn't in the last 8 years.
Okay.
But 8 years ago, he belonged to a gym and he did a million spin classes over there. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He doesn't look like a spinning guy, does
No.
he? Yeah, he did. Souza got him into it.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm sure Souza does spin classes.
Souza teaches spin.
He does?
Yeah, Mike Souza teaches spin. I don't know about as long as I do, but
I didn't know.
So I've only been in this area, Old Saybrook, for 14 years.
Okay.
And actually, the gym that I joined to teach spinning in, he was already an instructor there for a long time. So he's been doing it for at least 20 years, but probably more. Yeah.
Really?
He's a spin guy.
I didn't know he was a spin guy. I thought he just...
No, he's he's a body pump guy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, real body pump guy. And body pump's so good for you. Like that's a great workout. And he teaches that. Now he teaches that like right now in his basement, like on Zoom.
Really?
Zoom. Fitness. You know. It's like,
there you go.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to. Right now, everything is still either in person or on Zoom because you don't want to get out and be around.
COVID killed spinning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it killed everything. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, with COVID killing spinning, can you do a spin class through Zoom? And I'm assuming it's not as much fun.
No, we're actually doing, we never did Zoom spin classes at my gym.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody did them, but we didn't.
Okay.
I think you'd have to have a spin bike at home,
right,
which is kind of expensive. But anyway, but we got back to the gym after about 3 or 4 months or whatever is legal would do that. So, but it went from being, like we have 20 bikes and we had a waiting list of like 3 or 4 people, 5 people sometimes 10, and it went down to 3 people. And it's still at 3 people. So now my spin classes are like 3, maybe 5, on a great day.
Wow.
But yeah, it really killed
the numbers dropped.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody's afraid.
Yeah.
So it took all the energy away.
And obviously all the bikes are spaced apart from each other.
Well, we have a room about half the size of the room we're in right now. And we have 21 bikes in there. And there's only so much space you can get. You can't get 6 feet.
No.
You could get 3.5 feet, probably.
All right.
Yeah.
So what else we want to talk about as far as fitness and...
Well, fitness is a good topic. I mean, I love fitness. It's been my whole life has been about, it's my passion. It's not my job.
No.
I have a job. That's not my passion.
No.
But fitness is, and I like what I've learned through my life of being involved in fitness is, everybody's trying to stay the right shape and height and weight, and well, you don't stay the right height because you want to, but but you want to stay fit. Right. And what is the easiest, best way to pursue, fitness and health, stuff like that. And so I've always been interested in it. I've always learned everything I could possibly learn. And as I've gotten older, it's just harder. Like it becomes harder. When you're young, you stay skinny, and then you have children. And I had a dad bod when I was, I probably still do, but when I was in my 30s, I was pretty comfortably, plump and everything like that. And then following like my divorce in 2007, like I was back on the market dating, and so I was trying to become fitter, and I was trying to become smarter on how to be fitter in my 40s. Right. So I started learning more about fitness and stuff like that. And here's something that's interesting that I just think is interesting. Yeah. I mean, if you go work out, and you go to the gym and you just lift some weights, or you walk on a treadmill or you run a little bit, then, or you take a spin class and you don't get to the level where you're anaerobic.
Right.
You just stay aerobic. And the difference is aerobic means in the presence of oxygen, and anaerobic means not in the presence of oxygen. So whatever you're doing, you're working out so hard that the muscles are not oxygenated at the time.
Right.
And what that does is it puts your body in a real stressful situation. And here's the difference. You come into my spin class, and if you do the spin class and you don't go anaerobic, you don't go to that discomfort zone, right? You just stay in the comfort zone of being aerobic, always in the presence of oxygen. Then you'll burn 500 or 600 calories while you're in class.
Really?
But when you get to your car and you're driving away, your workout's done.
Right.
Your calorie burn is over. But if you come to my class and on those intervals where we take it up anaerobic, and you take it up anaerobic, you go faster, you put on more resistance, and you go outside of your comfort zone and are in the anaerobic stage without the presence of oxygen, right? And you do that 15 to 20 times during that hour class. Now you've stressed yourself out. And what happens from that is your body needs to recover now for 60 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
2.5 days to recover. And during that period of time, you burn about 25 calories more per hour recovering from that workout. So you might have burned 600 calories while you're in class, but you're going to burn 1,200 recovering.
Right.
So it's like 3 classes.
Right.
And the reason you got 3 classes for doing 1 is because you went out of your comfort zone. And the same thing happens when you lift weights. If you lift weights and you lift to 10 and you're fine. But if you lift weights and you lift to failure, right? You've gone out of your comfort zone. You've stressed the muscle. You can tell you've stressed the muscle because the next day it hurts. Whatever muscle you worked out hurts. And it takes 60 hours for that muscle to recover. That's why they say don't work out a muscle group more than twice a week. Because it takes 60 hours for that muscle group to repair itself. But the repair of the muscle, which is actually your body building more muscle, the repair takes the stripped, ragged muscle and sends proteins in and repairs it, burns 25 more calories per hour. So what I always tell people, like my children, that people that are trying to stay fit and lose weight and whatever, is be intense. Be very intense when you're working out. Because of that calorie burn after, that's sort of it's sort of like interest on your money. You put $100 in the bank, you get 5% interest, and in a year you have $105. If you build muscle and you break it down, the repairing of that muscle tissue burns calories. So anyway, I don't mean to bore you, but that's what I was very interested in, and what I found out was, you at any age, if you approach it in a smart way, if you approach it in a mentally smart way, you can work out a reasonable amount and stay pretty healthy. Everybody always says, well, all you do is work out. You just live in the gym and work out, and that's not true.
No.
Just that when you're there, you're doing something that's a smart method of doing it. Absolutely. So that's where what I did in my 40s was sort of to me, master that as much as I could.
There you go.
Yeah.
Would you mind sticking around for another segment?
Yeah.
Cool. We'll be right back.
Papers and media outlets merging all over the country, communities are losing their local voice.
There's so much going on in the community that I think doesn't really, there's a lot of folks who are unaware of it. And I think things like this can bring it out into the community and in that way kind of bring the community together.
Information and to our residents is the key to good governance. And with the national media and local media not often covering us, this is an excellent opportunity for us constantly to communicate with our constituents and also to have them communicate with us.
The best outcomes will be achieved through a community-based organization that grows its operation and scale by means of locally produced programming.
All of our content is volunteer produced, so we do shows from talk shows to music shows, working with high schools.
VSC TV is committed to ensuring that the investment made to secure these powerful tools will pay great dividends in the community for many, many years.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with Mark Fullerton, who is the fitness expert. Sir, expert. See, I gave you a title. Welcome back, pal.
Yeah, I'm going to have to live that down.
I know. yeah, right?
There's all these fitness experts out there right now going, oh, he is?
Oh, he is? Sure, yeah, right.
What is he saying? He's wrong.
Exactly, that's okay. So we were talking about, in the first segment, about spin and about fitness. Let's open up this segment talking about nutrition and how important it is to basically, yes, you can eat, but you got to watch what you eat, because all that, the calories you burn are basically going to.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so important. So every one of the components towards, I always talk about in terms of like what you want to look like.
Right.
You want to look like something. You want to be fit. You want to be lean. You want to be whatever you want to look like.
You want to be Vinny.
You want to be Vinny. So what goes into that? And the interesting thing about this is like there's a few things and they're all equally important.
Right.
And so working out to failure, working out like a HIIT workout or till the muscle breaks is one part. That's important. And then feeding that muscle afterward is equally as important. Okay. And then resting that muscle is equally as important. So of those three things, if you do 2 out of 3 of them, you didn't do them.
Right.
You didn't do it. So you didn't get any gains that day. Okay. You got to do all 3. Right. So what you have to do is you have to break the muscle down. Cardiovascularly, that's working out anaerobic.
Yep.
Lifting, that's going to the point where you can't go anymore. And then you need to feed that muscle. And you only have, after you break that muscle down, you only have 45 minutes to feed it. And you have to feed it protein.
Right.
It wants protein.
Absolutely.
And after 45 minutes, if you don't ingest protein, I say, the best thing for after a workout is probably a whey protein shake, because it's easily absorbed into the muscle. Yep. The proteins are. That said, you can get animal protein in there too, plant-based protein in there too. You just probably have to get it in there a little bit earlier so that it metabolizes, or not metabolizes, but that it's actually absorbed into the muscle. All right. So there's 9 amino acids in the proteins that go to repair the muscle, and you want the proteins that have all 9 of those amino acids. Okay. And you can find them on the internet or whatever they do. However, if you wait an hour and a half after your workout to feed your muscle, you didn't get the benefit that day. You didn't get the benefit. And if you don't rest the muscle for 2 or 3 days, you also didn't get it. You didn't get the build of the muscle. Right. So you need the rest, you need the protein, you need the nutrition, and you need to break the muscle down, and you need to do all 3 of those things all the time. Yeah. All the time to like get the best benefit out of what you're trying to do. Absolutely. If what you're trying to do is get stronger, that's definitely important. Right. Because building the muscle will make you stronger. If you're trying to get faster, same thing. If you're trying to get bigger, the same thing. Right. And if you're trying to get smaller, then most likely the same things. And then your diet becomes even more important if you're trying to lose weight. Right. Because if you're trying to get smaller and lose weight, then you want to be in a calorie deficit. Right. So, I mean, you can like they say you can't outrun a fork, which just means that no matter how much you work out, you've got to watch what you eat. Absolutely. But that's not really true, because like if you run 30 miles a day, then you're going to get skinny. Yeah. I don't care what you eat. Absolutely. You can eat ice cream all day long. Right. But you can't run 30 miles a day. No. But anyway, you can like work out in a calorie deficit. So what you do is you figure out how much you have dedicated to the workout that you're going to do, and then how much you're going to eat. You know how we try to do something on Thanksgiving Day where we we don't eat all the way up until dinner time so that we can have a big meal. Right. You know, that's the whole thing. You can't eat like Thanksgiving dinner like every day. No. But if you, the day before, go on a 20-mile walk, then you probably can. So you can outrun a fork if you have a lot of ambition. You know, like I remember I did a lot of 100-mile bike rides.
Oh, really?
And yeah, like I've done hundreds of 100-mile bike rides. And I can tell you, when you're doing 100-mile bike rides all the time, you can eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
You can just eat whatever you want to eat.
Right.
And if you're not doing it, like I'm not now, like you have to be pretty picky and choosy about what you eat.
Right.
And there's all kinds of like good and bad choices.
Right.
So everybody talks about low carb diets.
Yes.
Like diets that are low in carbohydrates. Yeah, they work.
Right.
They work. They have some adverse effects on your health as far as maybe your kidneys go. And if you like a low carb diet would be like, I just eat pepperoni.
Right.
Obviously, like that'd be low carb.
Right.
But it wouldn't be very healthy for you. It'd be very high in salt.
Right.
It'd be bad for your kidneys. So
yeah.
So you have to kind of like carve that low carb diet out. And there's also a lot of timing involved. Right. Like one of the healthiest ways you can live your life is to eat your bigger meals early.
Right.
Like your breakfast could be a big meal.
Right.
Your lunch could be a big meal, but dinner should probably be smaller. And in the United States, we don't really do that. We like we like have very large dinners.
Absolutely.
So let's go back to the nutrition part of this.
Yes.
So for a person that weighs 175 pounds,
Okay.
that person needs 175 grams of protein
Okay.
in a day, in 24 hours.
Gotcha.
A person who weighs 175 pounds can really only metabolize, like process, like 30 to 35 grams of protein in a day.
Okay.
So if you do the math on that, that person has to eat 6 times a day to get that much protein. And you should get a gram of protein for every pound you weigh. I firmly believe that. There'll be people that say you shouldn't do that, but I think that you should.
Right.
And it also speeds up, the protein speed up your metabolism as well.
Absolutely.
So if you were to eat 5 or 6 meals a day, and each meal, and 6 ounces of chicken has 35 grams of protein in it.
Right.
So it's not like you're eating this like gigantic meal.
No.
It's just like a little salad with some chicken in it.
Yeah.
Like you have some protein in the morning, you have something at 9 o'clock, noontime, 3 o'clock, and then your dinner at night, and then maybe something before you go to bed that has a little protein in it.
Yeah.
And you'll get it. But like you can eat like real good food. And what you want to minimize is, you want to minimize this, like, so you eat a lot of vegetables too.
Yeah.
Because the vegetables carry all the nutrition.
Absolutely.
They carry the vitamins and everything that we need over the course of the day. And there's better vegetables than others. And you can Google that or whatever it is. I mean, I know beets, kale, I'm thinking of
cauliflower.
Broccoli, cauliflower are some of the better ones. Sweet potatoes are a good one. But you know, asparagus, peas are actually a good one. I didn't even really know that until recently. But actually, like peas are actually a good. I didn't read corn in there and anything like that. But anyway,
Yeah. Right.
So you get that stuff as filler, and you try to avoid the starchy vegetables, and you can pick out like a regular potato would be a starchy vegetable.
Oh, absolutely.
And sometimes there's a reason to have a potato. Maybe you're working out a lot or something.
Absolutely.
Like that. But
I actually like sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes are really good for you.
Right.
Yeah. So you want to balance that out. You want to balance out. I would say the number one thing, if you care about your health and if you care about the way you look, number one thing, avoid sugar. Like no sugar. Like try to literally go sugar free. There's obviously going to be a point in your life, your birthday, when you're going to have some sugar.
Right.
But for the most part, like sugar's like the biggest evil out there.
Yes.
There's that's the worst thing for you. That'll stop your metabolism. That'll slow it down.
Right.
You know, the proteins will speed it up. So I would say small meals, 30 grams of protein in your meal. Vegetables as filler. And you know, breads are a dagger for people like us that get older and stuff, and things like pizza and buns and things like that. I mean, I do a lot of hamburgers with lettuce buns.
Oh yeah.
You know, things like that. So I think they're good. You still get the hamburger and everything like that. There's nothing like a good piece of bread, but I save that for when I go out to eat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So but the nutrition part of it is so important. And like I said, like you want to fuel, like, so a lot of people do these diets where they don't eat, and they go for a period of time, but they they kill their metabolism, and their body goes down to burning like 100, 150 calories an hour, whereas if they had eaten some protein in the morning, they set off a furnace in their body where their body would be burning 300 to 400 calories per hour. And you can actually like light that metabolism up by having the presence of proteins in your diet that keep the metabolism firing, and you burn more calories. And I think you need to experiment with that with yourself to figure out how your body reacts to that, and try different things. There are good components. There's a lot of reasons to fast here and there. There's no reason to go all day and not eat anything.
No.
And then at the end of the night, drop, 1,800 calories on dinner and put your whole body to sleep.
No.
Like, you want to keep that fuel.
That's not good.
No, you want to keep the fire going. You want to keep the metabolism going and everything. And then equally, like, to just throw this in there, like sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep is as important as nutrition. It's equally important as all the things you eat during the course of a day.
Getting a good night's sleep.
Yeah, the whole sleep, yeah.
Mark Fullerton, we're out of time. Thanks for some time, my friend.
Pleasure.
We'll see you soon.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too. On behalf of Mark Fullerton, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.